After months of rumors, red carpet whispers, and undeniable chemistry with Liam Neeson, Pamela is finally speaking out. But what did she actually say? And why is everyone dissecting her every word? Could it be romance, a close friendship, or something entirely unexpected? Fans and insiders are on high alert, searching for hidden meanings in her comments. One thing is certain, the real story behind their connection may be far more surprising than anyone imagined. And this unfolding chapter is only just beginning. The moment that ignited the buzz. On July 29, 2025, a routine appearance on the Today Show turned into an unforgettable spectacle. Pamela Anderson, 58, and Liam Neeson, 73, were chatting with the hosts in a lighthearted segment full of banter and inside jokes. But just as the cameras prepared to cut to commercial, the two leaned in, closer and closer, until it looked like they were about to kiss. Then, suddenly, the screen faded to black. There was no kiss, but the spark was undeniable. Within minutes, the internet erupted. Social media feeds overflowed with replay clips, slowed-down edits, and fan theories. Some called it a scripted bit gone wrong. Others dubbed it the clingiest red carpet stunt ever, though no red carpet was involved. That blink and you miss it moment was enough to dominate headlines for days, with tabloids from Hollywood to London scrambling for answers. Fans weren't just entertained, they were hooked. What made the incident even juicier was their immediate response. When a host jokingly pressed about the kiss, Pamela laughed, wide-eyed, and teased, "What? I don't understand the question." Her delivery was playful, yet perfectly timed. Liam sighed dramatically and replied with a wry, "Craig," aimed at the host, his dry humor only amplifying the intrigue. They never confirmed anything, but they didn't deny it either. Their chemistry was magnetic, the kind that felt too natural to be scripted. That ambiguity fueled a media storm. Were they simply being cheeky, or did something deeper linger once the camera stopped rolling? Online reactions were split. Some fans were thrilled, convinced that they had just witnessed Hollywood's newest romance spark live on air. Others dismissed it as a blooper or a stunt. A single fan-uploaded clip racked up over 10 million views in a day. Twitter timelines buzzed with gifs of the near kiss, while theories spread like wildfire. Some swore they saw lips touch. Others were certain it was all for laughs. The press couldn't resist. InStyle labeled it the clingiest red carpet stunt ever, despite the absence of a carpet. Outlets dissected every frame, from Pamela's hand brushing Liam's arm to the way they leaned in sync. Comparisons to romantic movie scenes only deepened the speculation. Headlines ranged from playful jokes to bold predictions, with some outlets even declaring this the beginning of Hollywood's most surprising late-in-life love story. And the frenzy didn't stop at gossip. Morning shows, podcasts, and glossy magazines joined in. Body language experts weighed in. Fashion writers picked apart their outfits for hidden signals. Even fan fiction popped up within hours. This wasn't just celebrity gossip anymore. It was a story, a mystery too tempting to ignore. But here's the bigger question. Was this a spontaneous tease, or the public unveiling of a connection that had already been simmering behind the scenes? Stay tuned, because this story is only just unfolding. Behind the scenes of their first meeting, before the headlines, before the internet caught fire with speculation, and before one near kiss on live television sparked global curiosity, something had already begun, quietly, on a movie set. Pamela Anderson and Liam Neeson first crossed paths during the production of the highly anticipated Naked Gun reboot. The project promised slapstick chaos and nostalgia, but what no one expected was the subtle connection that would form between its two biggest stars. Their introduction happened during a pre-production table read. The room buzzed with producers, writers, and publicists glued to their phones. Neeson, tall and composed, arrived early, script in hand, every page marked with notes, a man who had done this countless times. Minutes later, Anderson swept in with her familiar smile, her folded script in hand, instantly commanding the room's attention. By chance, or perhaps fate, they were seated side by side. That simple choice of seating quietly set the stage for everything that followed. At first, their exchanges were professional. They read their lines, chuckled at the more outrageous jokes, and traded polite nods. But in the quiet in-between moments, a different rhythm began to emerge. Anderson praised Neeson's timing. He, in turn, admired her sharp comedic instincts. It was the kind of banter that hinted at a growing ease between them. Once filming began, their connection deepened. The slapstick style demanded exaggerated humor and high-energy performances. But away from the cameras, their interactions became more personal. Both veterans of the industry, they came from vastly different backgrounds. Anderson from television, modeling, and activism. Neeson from decades of dramatic and action-driven roles. Yet they shared the same grounded professionalism, punctual, prepared, and respectful of everyone around them. Crew members noticed how often the pair lingered after rehearsals, tucked into quiet corners of the soundstage. Sometimes they'd be laughing at something private. Other times they'd sit in companionable silence. Their bond wasn't about publicity. It was genuine, the kind of connection that drew curiosity without ever needing to announce itself. Their openness extended beyond each other. Both stars treated everyone on set with warmth, from the makeup chair to the lighting rigs. That generosity created a comfortable, collaborative atmosphere the director credited for keeping the production smooth. But even within that ease, their dynamic stood out. There was an unspoken rhythm between them. Not loud, not flashy, but magnetic all the same. One small, almost domestic moment became a favorite story among the crew. During production, Anderson began baking homemade sourdough and bringing it to set. She shared it casually, but when Neeson tried it, he didn't just eat it. He declared it superb in front of the cast, with a sincerity that surprised everyone. It was a simple gesture, but it spoke volumes about the quiet care passing between them. Still, Hollywood chemistry doesn't always equal romance. So why do insiders keep whispering they're clearly smitten? Would you like me to continue this narrative in the same documentary-style tone, building towards whether their relationship is friendship, romance, or clever Hollywood mystique? The insider scoop. No one expected. After that headline-making Today Show appearance, whispers quickly turned into front-page news. People magazine dropped an exclusive, confirming that Pamela Anderson and Liam Neeson were indeed in the early stages of a romance. There were no carefully staged paparazzi shots, no cryptic Instagram posts, just quiet acknowledgement from those close to them. According to insiders, this wasn't about publicity or pushing a project. It was simply two people discovering each other in an unexpected chapter of their lives. The article didn't just confirm a relationship. It highlighted what made this pairing so unique. One source shared that the couple values their time away from the spotlight, spending it on long walks, watching classic films, and having meaningful conversations. They aren't chasing clicks or headlines. In fact, they're intentionally choosing privacy over spectacle. In a world where celebrity relationships often play out on social media, their slower, more grounded approach feels refreshing. What made the revelation even more striking was its sheer unpredictability. Anderson and Neeson are both veterans of fame with decades-long careers that rarely cross paths. That they would connect now, far from the chaos of their earlier stardom, suggests something deeper than surface-level chemistry. Insiders describe their bond as gentle and authentic, rooted in shared values rather than Hollywood performance. Of course, not everyone bought into the fairy tale. Skeptics wondered if this was still part of a bigger Hollywood machine. Fans debated whether the romance was built to last or destined to fade once film promotions ended. Yet through it all, Anderson and Neeson remained quiet, offering no explanations or rebuttals. Their silence in many ways became its own answer. So are they truly falling in love or simply moving in sync on and off screen? To understand that, the spotlight turns to the woman at the center of it all. Pamela Anderson's comeback is making waves, and her story is only just beginning. Pamela's quiet comeback and renewed spirit. Pamela Anderson has never been a stranger to fame, but the woman the world sees today is far from the image that once defined her. In recent years, she has carefully reshaped not only her career, but also the way people perceive her. This evolution hasn't come through flashy publicity stunts or loud reinventions. It has unfolded through intentional choices, personal growth, and a lifestyle rooted in calm simplicity. Her Broadway debut in 2022 marked a turning point. Taking on the role of Roxy Hart in Chicago, Anderson surprised critics and audiences alike. What many assumed would be a novelty casting quickly became a triumph. Her commanding presence and vulnerability on stage earned rave reviews and opened the door to a new era of respect in her career, one no longer overshadowed by old labels. That momentum carried into 2023 with Pamela, A Love Story, her Netflix documentary. For the first time, she told her story in her own words, unfiltered by tabloids or outside commentary. The film revealed a side of her that was thoughtful, candid, and empowered. Viewers saw not a star clinging to the past, but a woman reclaiming her truth and rewriting her narrative. In 2024, she deepened that transformation with The Last Showgirl, a quiet yet powerful indie film that earned widespread critical acclaim. Her nuanced performance secured Golden Globe and Screen Actors Guild nominations, recognition not for who she once was, but for the artist she had become. Anderson was no longer being rediscovered. She was finally being respected. By 2025, her creative journey expanded beyond acting, with Pamela's Cooking with Love, a plant-based cooking series filmed in Canada. She embraced wellness, compassion, and connection through food. Alongside it, she released I Love You, Recipes from the Heart, a cookbook blending cherished memories with sustainable, heartfelt recipes. The book quickly earned praise and was even shortlisted for the prestigious James Beard Award. But the biggest transformation wasn't on screen or in print. Those closest to her noticed a shift in how she lived. She seemed centered, grounded, and genuinely content. Gone were the endless red carpet dramas and tabloid storms. In their place was a rhythm of slow, intentional living. She split her time between creative projects and her quiet life in British Columbia, where she tended a vegetable garden and cherished moments with her two grown sons. Friends describe her days as peaceful and deeply fulfilling. She starts mornings with walks at sunrise and ends them preparing simple meals from her own kitchen, often using ingredients she's grown herself. There is joy in her simplicity and power in her calm. And then, Liam stepped into her life. But what did he really think before all of this? You might be surprised by his perspective and how everything changed once he saw the truth with his own eyes. The unspoken signals from Liam Neeson. In October 2024, Liam Neeson seemed to draw a firm line under his romantic life. In an interview with People magazine, he spoke with quiet conviction, saying he was no longer interested in dating. At 73, after decades in the spotlight, legendary roles, and a few high-profile relationships, his words carried weight. "I'm past all that," he said, with the calmness of someone at peace. For longtime fans, it felt like a curtain falling on that chapter of his life. But life often writes its own surprises. Just months later, Neeson's tone shifted. Still reserved, still private, but unmistakably more open. When Pamela Anderson's name came up, he didn't sidestep or deflect. Instead, he admitted something deeply personal. With Pamela, I'm madly in love with her. The simplicity of his words and the sincerity behind them was striking. There was no performance, no embellishment. It was a truth that had quietly taken root. For many, the admission was startling. Neeson had long projected an image of emotional restraint, a man who valued privacy and guarded his personal world. To hear him speak with such warmth, with such clarity, suggested this was no passing admiration. It was something deeper, an affection woven into the fabric of his everyday life. That closeness became even more visible during a joint interview to promote their film. The banter between them revealed more than rehearsed sound bites. Pamela described Neeson as kind, sweet, and funny before breaking into laughter and calling him very silly. Neeson smiled, returning the compliment with a playful, "She's very silly too." It was a fleeting moment, but one that carried the unmistakable ease of two people who shared an unspoken language. This wasn't just professional chemistry born of shared scenes. It was the comfort of private jokes, the ease of exchanged glances, and the rare recognition of being truly understood. What set this connection apart was how carefully they both handled the attention that followed. In a later interview, Neeson chose his words deliberately. Rather than stamp their bond with a headline-ready label, he called it a lovely budding chemistry as two actors. More telling, though, was his emphasis on letting it breathe. That choice of words resonated. In a world where celebrity relationships are rushed, defined, and paraded for spectacle, Neeson's decision to give their connection space felt almost radical. By not labeling it, he gave it dignity. He wasn't denying affection, nor was he forcing it into definition. He was allowing it to grow on its own terms. Even without bold declarations, the message was clear. Liam Neeson, a man rarely known for sharing personal revelations, had offered a glimpse into something genuine, something he clearly cherished. His signals, subtle but unmistakable, revealed a truth he couldn't hide. And after his words captured the world's attention, all eyes turned to Pamela. When she finally broke her silence, what she revealed left everyone stunned. Breaking her silence, Pamela's real truth. For weeks, speculation trailed Pamela Anderson everywhere she went. What began as whispers about her connection with Liam Neeson had snowballed into global headlines after their joint appearances. Though neither had confirmed nor denied anything, their visible chemistry fueled the narrative on its own. Now, for the first time, Anderson addressed the rumors, carefully and entirely on her terms. In an interview from May 2025, Pamela offered a glimpse into their bond. She described it as one built on ease and shared interests, laughing between takes, trading books, and what she playfully called romantic dinners, with their assistants in tow. These weren't glamorous nights in five-star restaurants, but quiet meals in hotel suites or trailers. Even as she used the word romantic, she stressed that their relationship during filming remained grounded in mutual respect and professionalism. Months later, during a promotional event, the question surfaced again. With a knowing smile, Anderson repeated the phrase, this time with deliberate wit. Our relationship stayed professionally romantic during filming, she said, her tone playful yet polished. The statement was both revealing and evasive, offering just enough to intrigue while keeping the mystery intact. That balance says everything. Instead of caving to the media's demand for clarity, Pamela left space for curiosity. Her words neither confirmed nor denied, but instead preserved a boundary that allowed her connection with Neeson to exist privately. Some critics saw it as evasive. Those close to her, however, call it intentional. By holding back, she invited the world to wonder without letting anyone dictate the story. Is it an elevated friendship? A quiet romance that resists definition? Or a bond too personal to explain? Her restraint left the questions open-ended, and that ambiguity made the moment even more compelling. Anderson's choice reflects the woman she is now. At 58, she has outgrown the chaos of paparazzi and scandal-chasing headlines. Her interviews, once packed with rehearsed sound bites, now carry pauses, reflections, and flashes of sharp humor. She doesn't chase attention, she commands presence. By repeating professionally romantic, Pamela reminded audiences that not all truths require spelling out. Some exist in glances, laughter, and shared moments that can't be packaged into neat answers. Her laughter after the remark wasn't defensive, it was inviting, suggesting the story is still unfolding at its own pace. For someone who once lived under relentless tabloid scrutiny, this calm, measured confidence marks a profound transformation. She speaks when she chooses, and when she does, every word is intentional. This isn't about hiding, it's about protecting the life she's building. Pamela has made one thing clear. She no longer feels the need to define her relationships for public approval. Whether her bond with Neeson remains private or evolves into something more visible, she has claimed the right to decide when and if the world gets to know. This isn't secrecy, it's sovereignty. And while Pamela stands steady in her truth, the world refuses to move on. The media, the fans, the endless speculation. Fame continues to twist their story. So what is the world really saying about this unexpected pair? Let's uncover the reaction. Fame, flirting, and the price of going public. In Hollywood, even the smallest gestures can ignite a storm of speculation. For Pamela Anderson and Liam Neeson, what began as subtle glances and easy chemistry quickly transformed into a headline-making story once they stepped onto the red carpet together. Their press tour launched on July 22nd in London, as cameras flashed and fans called their names. One simple moment stole the spotlight. Anderson leaned in and kissed Neeson on the cheek. It wasn't staged or calculated. It was lighthearted, warm, and deeply genuine. In that single gesture, they set the tone for everything that followed. Just 2 days later in Berlin, they played into the excitement even more. For photographers, Neeson stood behind Anderson, arms stretched wide, as she laughed in a playful recreation of the iconic Titanic pose. The crowd erupted. So did the press. What could have felt forced instead radiated pure fun. But it was New York on July 28th that truly shifted the narrative. This time, they didn't walk the carpet alone. Anderson's 2 sons and Neeson's joined them, creating what many described as blended family energy. Every smile, every glance, every shared laugh felt unforced, as if they were living their lives rather than performing for the cameras. In a business often criticized for staging intimacy, their authenticity stood out. Public reaction was overwhelmingly supportive, and much of that centered on their ages, 58 and 73. Instead of criticism, fans and media praised them for a connection grounded in maturity and depth. People magazine even called them emotionally aligned, applauding the honesty and balance they brought to their relationship. The approval extended beyond fans. On August 3rd, Neeson's son Daniel appeared on Watch What Happens Live. Asked directly about Anderson, his response was immediate. Yes. Just one word, but it carried warmth and acceptance. Days later, Pamela posted a sunset photo with 2 glasses and a caption about peace. In the comments, Jolie Richardson, sister of Neeson's late wife, Natasha, left 3 heart emojis. No explanation, no need. The gesture spoke volumes. Still, the spotlight comes with risk. Every public appearance carries the chance of misinterpretation. One offhand remark could easily distort the story. Yet so far, Anderson and Neeson have walked the line gracefully. They neither overshare nor retreat. Their interviews remain measured, their body language doing most of the talking. They are not hiding. They are not performing. They are simply showing up together. And so the question lingers. What's next? Could Hollywood's most quietly captivating couple be moving towards something even more permanent? Perhaps marriage? For now, they're keeping the answer to themselves. But if their journey so far has shown us anything, it's that sometimes authenticity speaks louder than any headline. What the future holds for Pamela and Liam. Entertainment insiders and analysts have started weighing in on what might lie ahead for this unexpected but surprisingly steady pairing. Their connection, defined by warmth, respect, and an absence of theatrics, has led many to believe that a long-term partnership could be on the horizon. Unlike many celebrity romances that burn bright and fade under pressure, Pamela Anderson and Liam Neeson have approached their bond with patience, allowing it to unfold naturally. For observers, that careful pace may be the key to their potential longevity. Sources close to the couple note that both are at a stage in life where clarity and authenticity matter more than appearances. Neeson, now in his 70s, has repeatedly expressed a desire for peace, emotional depth, and meaningful companionship. Anderson, approaching her 60s, has embraced a quieter, intentional life focused on wellness, family, and creative pursuits. Their alignment goes beyond personality. It's about shared values and mutual understanding, suggesting they're building something far more enduring than fleeting passion. Relationship experts highlight the maturity of their connection as a strong indicator that marriage could be possible, if not likely. Both have experienced high-profile relationships in the past, and their current choices reflect a clear desire to avoid drama while cultivating balance. Should they decide to marry, it would almost certainly be private, intimate, and entirely on their terms, rather than a media spectacle. Speculation about the setting is already circulating. Analysts suggest a ceremony might take place on Anderson's property in British Columbia or in a quaint Irish village close to Neeson's heart. Surrounded by their children, a handful of close friends, and the quiet beauty of nature, such a wedding would prioritize intimacy and meaning over pomp and publicity. Marriage, in this context, would be more than a formal vow. It would symbolize everything they've nurtured: deep friendship, creative partnership, and emotional trust that developed away from the noise of Hollywood. Yet some experts caution that they may never marry at all. For individuals with previous public relationships, there is often comfort in freedom. Anderson and Neeson could continue loving and growing together, without a legal certificate, finding fulfillment in their unique bond. Whatever path they choose, marriage or a lifelong, unlabeled partnership, the world is watching with admiration. Their journey has already defied expectations and rewritten the rules for how public figures can navigate love later in life. One thing is certain, they are doing it on their own terms. And for those following, that authenticity is precisely what makes their future, together or committed, the most compelling story of all. Do you think Pamela and Liam will take the next step in their relationship? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. We want to hear what you think.